Hi everybody and welcome to Photomikes Garage. Okay, what should I work on today? Let's see, we got a Hellcat over there. Over there we have an exciting 1973 Z28. No, those are boring. Let's work on something else. Should I work on the police cars? No. I know, I'll work on the minivan. That's fun and exciting. Okay, I know it's not really exciting, but this is work that has to be done. This is my 2009 Mazda 5, a great little minivan. There are thousands and thousands of them out there, and they're great, but they have a few little problems, and today I'm going to address one of those problems, and I think it will be a useful video for you guys. For anyone who has windows that are sticking, are not going up and down when you press the switches, you know, starts to get intermittent and then eventually stops working altogether. This is a common problem with Mazda 5s and maybe other Mazdas as well. So today I'm going to solve the problem and show you how to do it. I already did the driver's side and the driver's side rear passenger. So I already know how to do this. I've tested it, it works. So here's what you got to do. I'm going to demonstrate on the passenger side front door and on the passenger side rear sliding door. Let's start with the passenger side front door. You got plastic trim here. That's got to come off for you to get access to the switches, because what the problem is that the switches, the contacts, the metal contacts inside here are dirty and carbonized, and they got to be cleaned. Now in my case, my entire problem was because of carbon buildup on the metal contacts of the switches. Now your problem might be different. That was my cause of my problem, so that's what this video is going to show you how to fix. Okay, first step, like I said, take off the trim. For that you will need a Phillips headed screwdriver, and there might be a little pad in here that you have to remove, but basically you expose this Phillips head screw and you undo it. It's very simple. Just like so. Okay, so this is one of the tools that would be very handy to have in this case. You can use a screwdriver, but you might wreck the trim. This piece right here will come up. It's got clips. You can undo it. And this will not hurt your trim. So get a plastic pry tool like this. Get this sucker up, and there we go. We have one electrical connection. Press this tab in and remove. Don't think I can do this with one hand. These tabs are always annoying. Oh, there you go. Okay, now your trim is removed. Let's take a look inside here. Okay, we have two small Phillips head screws to take off our window switch. Let's undo them. There we go. Off we go. Lay the trim to the side. Okay, here is your switch. All right. Up, down, up, down. Okay, so as you can see, there's a tab there. There's a tab there. There's a tab on the end. Tab there, tab there. So 5 tabs. And you sort of have to carefully pry this up. You can use a flat-bladed screwdriver like this one, something small that will get underneath there, and it takes a bit of work. It's hard to do with just one hand, of course. You sort of gotta get these tabs loose without breaking them and sort of work it off. It takes a bit of work. Now, let's see if I can do this without breaking it. Don't want to break it. Don't want to break it. Don't break it. Okay. This side's a little bit loose. That's a little loose, yeah. Okay, I finally, after a bit of finagling, got it loose. The cover comes straight up. There you go. There's your plastic switch. All right, put that to the side, and here is your real switch. Okay. Up. Okay. Up, down, up, down. Okay. Now this comes off quite easily, just like that. There you go. This is a good time to check the contacts here. Once it's out of its little plastic case, it's actually fairly easy to clean these if these have corrosion. These particular ones are clean. Now let's go over here, and again, you can see there's, let's see, I'll just point it out with this. Again, you can see that there's a tab. Let's see if I can show it. There's a tab here, a tab here, a tab here, and a tab here. So again, you have to sort of pry up the edges and take this plastic cover off. I shall attempt to do that. Let's see here. Okay. There you go. This side is, this particular switch comes off pretty easy. There you go. Once you have one side off, the whole thing will come out. And as you can see, this is your switch. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. It's just plastic. So put this to the side, and here is where your problem is. This is where your problem is. You have little metal rockers that go back and forth, and make contact with metal pads in here. They make contacts, they go back and forth like a seesaw and make electrical contact, and that tells the window, and that activates the window motor to take the window up or down. So these are not even held in by anything, and you just pry them out just like that, and just like that. And there you go. Can you see? Look how black. This is the metal contact right here. Look how black that is. Look how black this is. That is carbonated up from electrical contact. It's a poor design here, Mazda. Didn't do your homework too well. These carbon up pretty good just from the electrical contact and breaking the contact, and that causes interference eventually. And as you can see, look at here. This is the metal contact piece. It's all black. So very simply, what you do right now is you start scraping it off with a small screwdriver, or you could use a file. I happen to have a small file, so you can file this down. So all you're going to do is work on these contacts here until they're shiny, and you keep working it till they're nice and shiny like these two are. That's all you got to do. Now let's turn to the rest of the switch here. Again, now these are recessed, so you got to use like a small screwdriver. So it really helps if you have one of these jeweler's type of screwdrivers, something really small, and you just got to sort of pick at it and keep working at it until you get this nice and shiny. Nice and shiny indeed. Just takes a bit of work, a bit of labor, and you'll get it done. So you want to get it kind of like this, nice and shiny, nice and shiny. These contacts, which are the main contacts, as well as these, I get these all shined up too. So I just do everything. It just takes a bit of labor, and now all we got to do is put it all back together again. So you put these back in the way that they came out. Just like that. Very simple. Position your plastic top piece over it. Just push down. Click. And then there you go. Ready to go. And insert it back into its position here. There we go. Like that. All right. Then we just put this straight on. Make sure that our switch is in a neutral position. Okay, we've got it clipped together. All right. Insert it back into our trim piece, like so. Like so. And put back our two Phillips screws. Now before I fully install this into the car, I'm going to connect up the electrical connector here and just make sure that the switch actually works before I actually clip it in. Okay, we got the electrical connector connected, and let's see if this switch works. Down, up. All right, this switch is done. Let's just clip it in. Then we got the one screw to put in. This door is almost done. Okay, the passenger side front door is now done. Now, the driver's side, of course, has a lot more switches, as you can see. You got your 1, 2, 3, 4, but the principle remains exactly the same. It comes out the same way. There is an extra electrical connector at the front that has to be unclipped, but otherwise the cleaning procedure and taking everything apart is exactly the same. Now the rear doors look a little daunting because there's no obvious way to get at this switch here. There's no obvious way, but this whole panel here will unclip and come loose. You just got to work your way in. You can use your little pry tool here, and usually right about there. You can see it's coming loose. There you go, coming loose. Once you get the bottom up, which I've got, also you have to make sure this is straight up to make sure the plastic piece will come off. And here we go. Let's see. Come on, come on. You can come off. Come on. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's how it comes off. Nice, nice, nice. Now you got to undo the electrical connector. You just got to press in the tab, and pull her out, which I cannot do with one hand. All the same, I've got this plastic piece off, and right away I noticed that this connector looks kind of greenish. You notice that? Looks like these metal tabs in there have a little bit of corrosion. So I have no idea why, but it would be a good idea if you could find a way, maybe with a little pin or something, to try and clean out those little connectors there. So this is a little dirty. Okay, so you've got your trim piece. How do you get this out? Well, this plastic piece here, which contains your switch, will come out this way. As you can see, there's two little tabs. You just squeeze them together and voila. It will come out through the top. Just like that. Put this aside and there you go. Now you got 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs to again pry carefully to take this part of the switch apart. All right, she's apart. And there's our switch. And again, more little tabs to pry. And again, this one, you got to be careful because things can break pretty easy. This is a bit time consuming. Okay, there's 5 tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 in the back. Carefully pry it and you can separate it. There's our plastic switch. This one's slightly broken, but there we go. Now, this is what we have to look at. As you can see, it's slightly different. We've got all these metal connectors coming out here. And also, if you notice, we got some green coming here. Also, if you'll notice, we got some green corrosion here. So let's just take this whole thing out. The way you do that is by putting a small screwdriver underneath the whole assembly, all these metal wires, and you can pull them out. You're pulling them out of the connector here. Pull them out. pull them out. There we go. Here is our switch. You can see there is green corrosion here. This can all be now accessed, and you can file this all off, front and back. So that's one part. The other part, again, is the same thing as what we did before in the front. You've got to just loosen off this plastic part of the switch. Loosen it off, yeah, carefully. Carefully. Okay, this comes off. It's just plastic. There's your two rockers, same as the front. You can take these out and clean them the same way that I did in the front. They just fall right out. And you can see again, we need cleaning here and here, and on the rockers, on their pads here. And in this case, at the back, we're also going to clean these contacts here. Now you got to be careful because this is very delicate metal, so you got to hold them firmly as you file them. Yeah, hold them firmly as you file them, just sort of like this. Get everything nice and shiny. Okay, I've got everything cleaned as best I can. It's pretty nice and shiny, nice and clean. So you put the little rockers back in exactly the way they came out. Just like so. Just like so. And just like so. Then we put our little plastic switch back on. Straight down she goes. Oops. Straight down she goes. Just like that. There's our switch. Then we reinstall these delicate metal contacts back into their appropriate places. Very carefully put them, squeeze them back in, push down so they sort of seat. And there we go. Now we're going to put this back on top of this. Man, okay. And click her in just like so. There we go. Our little doohickey comes on here. There we go. And there's our switch. We just put this all together the way it was. And it's really just that simple. Now before I put all the trim pieces back on, I'm going to test the switch. I've got it plugged in to make sure it works. Window down, window up. Voila. Job done, except for putting the trim back on. All right, there you go. A quick and simple method to keep your window switches going. You don't have to buy new ones, just clean the old ones. It's the cheap way to do things, and that's how I do things around here. Anyway, thanks for watching Photomikes Garage. I will see you next time.